Hi and welcome to a new video on my channel. Today I want to show you how to make this cute Tunisian crochet heart. You have a bigger version of this on my blog as a free pattern and as a PDF pattern as well in my shops. But I want to show you how to make a small version, so if you follow along and make one of these, you will know how to make the big one later on. In today's pattern, I chose this base triangle to be a bit wider than in the other pattern, but if you want to, you can modify that one as well and to make it a bit shorter in total. It's your choice, you choose what you want to make. You have different customization options for this pattern, so I think that's nice. And you can use this heart as part of a garland. You can make 10 of them and string them, put them somewhere to decorate for Valentine's Day, or you can make a small pouch. So if you want to make a small pillow or toy, you can add a wall, a side wall, like in the big pillow pattern, or you can just make two pieces and sew them together and stuff them to make a little heart toy or gift. So for this pattern, you will need some yarn. I have here some size 3 to size 4 yarn. I used 11 grams for this. This is the same yarn. The quantity of yarn will vary depending on what yarn you use, but at least 20 meters of size 3 or size 4 yarn. Then you will need a hook. I have here a 6mm hook. This is what I used to make this heart. The thing is that it will curl a lot, so don't worry about it, because if you use acrylic, like in this case, you can block it out. Or if you use cotton, you can also wash it and pin it in place while it dries. You can also add a bit of starch to make sure that it keeps its shape. So in this case I chose 6mm, and normally for this yarn with regular crochet you would use a 4 or 5mm hook. You also need a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors, of course, to finish off. We will begin this project in a different way than most Tunisian crochet projects begin, by using a magic ring. So we make a loop with the end in front and insert the hook into the loop. Pick up a loop and chain one. This is the first stitch, and we make 2 more. So insert the hook, pick up a loop, chain one, insert the hook into the loop, pick up a loop, chain one. This is the first row, and we can close up the magic ring and then chain one, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 to return. This method is great for any project that starts with a point. You can put as many stitches as you like in the magic ring and then just close it up and you have a point. Now row 2, we insert the hook into the next space, pull up a loop. This is 1 full stitch or an increase. You can also increase in the horizontal bar between the stitches here, but I prefer making a full stitch because I can control the height of the first stitch more. Then we have 1 Tunisian simple stitch, 1 full stitch, and the last stitch we insert the hook behind the 2 vertical bars at the end, pick up a loop, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 to return to the beginning of the row. Row 3, we start with an increase again, so 1 full stitch. Then we have 3 Tunisian simple stitches. Then 1 full stitch. And 1 last stitch. Again, insert the hook behind the 2 vertical bars, pull up a loop, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning to return. We keep doing this, increasing on every row at the beginning and at the end, so 2 stitches, until we have 19 stitches. So on the next row we have 1 full stitch, 5 Tunisian simple stitches, 1 full stitch, last stitch and then return, and so on until we have 19 stitches. You will notice the work starting to curl. Don't worry about it. As I mentioned in the beginning, you can block it out, or if you want to seam the 2 pieces together, then it will go away when you make the seam. Once you have 19 stitches, we make 2 rows of Tunisian simple stitches. So 19 Tunisian simple stitches on each row, plus the last stitch. Now the body of the heart is finished, and we start with the bumps. To make the first bump, we first pick up 5 loops. And we do a short row return, what I like to call. We just yarn over, pull through 2. All the way to the beginning of the row. So we don't have the vertical part here, where you do the extra chain. You just yarn over, pull through 2. Then we have 3 simple stitches and the short row return. And we repeat these 2 rows 6 more times, or if you want to, 5 more times. So we have 4 loops in this part, and then the 5th will be in the same stitch where we worked the first row. Then yarn over, pull through 2 to return. Then we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2 to return, and then 5. We pick up 2 in the row before, then 2 in the row before that one, and 1 in the triangle. This way we will make half a circle, or almost half a circle, at the top of the triangle. So we have a short row, then a regular row. If you want to, you can make a total of 6 or 7 repeats of these 2 rows. It all depends on your aesthetic. Just make sure that you do the same on both sides if you make 2 hearts to sew together. I will make 7 repeats because that's what I have on the other heart as well. When you reach the last repeat with the full row, you pick up 4 loops. And then the 5th loop, you don't pick up in this stretched out stitch here. You pick it up as if to knit. So you insert the hook between the 2 vertical bars of the stitch where you worked and pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2 to return. And this will make that stitch a lot more stable than it was before. Then we have the last short row with 3. Yarn over, pull through 2 to return. And then we have to look at the triangle and count stitches so that we can anchor this end in the proper spot. Actually, you don't really need to count anything. You just look at the middle stitch here from the point and just go up. Or you count 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And put a knit stitch in there. So to make the knit stitch, you insert the hook not behind the front vertical bar, but between the 2 vertical bars of the stitch below. Make a slip stitch, and we start on the second heart bump. So we have 5 loops on the hook, 6 in total. Then we yarn over, pull through 2 to return. Then we pick up 3 loops, return, and so on 6 or 5 more times with the 2 rows. Again, on the last regular row, we put a knit stitch at the end. So in this case, you don't really see the two vertical bars of the stitch, but what you can do is insert the hook under the horizontal part here, where you have the return pass, and that works. That's the end of the heart. Now you have two options. If you want to make the side walls for the little pillow, then you don't cut the yarn, you just continue working on the edge of the heart by making one slip stitch in the last stitch, then chain 2 or chain 4 for the big pillow, like in the pattern, and then pick up 2 loops in the back bumps, one more loop in the same stitch, yarn over, pull through 3 times. That's also a short row return. And pick up 2 loops, one loop in the next stitch on the side, and yarn over, pull through 2 to return, and so on, going all around the heart and coming back. And then you can seam up the heart. Now I will show you how to seam up the 2 holes that you have here from making the 2 bumps. And first we will make a stitch on the edge, an invisible seam that you have seen me make in many videos before. So we will be recreating this stitch right here by coming with the needle through the second stitch from the front to the back, and then going back into the last stitch as we look at it like this. And now we have a nice edge. Then we go with the yarn to the back of the work and we start seaming. We come out with the needle through the front here and go through the fabric and come out with the needle from under this first stitch. Then on the other side we find the corresponding loop and come up with the needle from under it as well. This should make it so that when you look at the fabric, you will see a continuous line here of the Tunisian simple stitches. Then we go back to the first side, go through the fabric up from below this, what is now a horizontal loop, and then the corresponding one on the other side. Then again through the fabric, and now the short row is finished, so we will pick up the corresponding loop on the other side on the row before. Again on the first side and on the other side. That's 4 of these rows completed. And now we have a large hole here, which you can leave as it is, or you can close it up if you are making a pillow. So with the needle, we go through the base of all these rows. We have to go all the way through to the beginning. And then we can pull on the yarn and close this up. And then we go with the needle to the back of the work. And travel up to here, where we will start the second seam. So on the back we can travel like this. All the way to the middle stitch. In the middle we come up to the front and then go through the fabric reaching the first stitch. Then we find the corresponding loop on the other side. And pull to close. Make sure that you don't have excess tension here in between the two bumps, so that the fabric is flat and not bunched up. Then you take the end to the back of the work and weave it in. I have a separate video in which I show you 3 methods to weave in ends in Tunisian crochet, and I show you on one of these hearts. Then you can choose your favorite method. You can steam block this heart if you made it from acrylic yarn, like I did. Now after blocking, you can see that the heart is very limp and is perfectly flat. I have a separate video about making sure that Tunisian crochet projects lay flat. In this case, I recommend that you use acrylic and you use steam to block it. In other cases, I have suggestions in that video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with more videos. Bye!